On NewsHour tonight, over 20 people killed, many displaced as armed men attack Taraba communities. Police rescue Hamdiyya Sharif, deny rumored arrest detention. Federal government to sell 753 duplexes confiscated from Emefiele to Nigerians. On the foreign scene, South Africa police minister says Trump's genocide claim twisted. Good evening and welcome to Trust News Hour. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. Over 20 persons were reportedly killed while thousands were displaced following renewed attacks by suspected armed herders in the Mungalilo community of Karim-Lamido local government area of Taraba State. The latest assault, which occurred on Friday, left over 7 communities in Mungalilo and Magami completely burnt down. Our correspondent reports that before the military and the police who were keeping vigil in Bandawa, a neighboring village which suffered similar attacks by the armed herders a few days ago, arrived at Munga villages, over 20 deaths were recorded while several others sustained gunshot injuries. An indigene of Munga, who lost his younger brother and brother-in-law in the attack, recounted that the assailants stormed the villages on motorcycles and killed residents without resistance. Residents have since abandoned their homes for fear of further attacks, while those with serious gun injuries were evacuated to the nearest hospitals in the area. Taraba State Police Command, while confirming the incident in a text message sent to journalists by its spokesperson, James Lashen, did not give the exact number of the people killed, but said the attacks occurred around 2:30 p.m. on Friday. Taraba State Governor Abu Kefas, in a statement issued by his special advisor on media and digital communications, Emmanuel Bello, condemned the attacks, describing the carnage as horrendous and unacceptable, saying such acts only set the state back instead of advancing its progress. Joining us from Taraba State to discuss the attack is a Taraba-based security expert, Ben Adaji. Good evening and thank you for joining us on NewsHour tonight.
Good evening and thank you so much.
All right, so you're based in this state, and in recent times, let's just take it back as far back as April or earlier in the year, there's been a spate of attacks in Taraba. What can we say brought about this renewed attacks in the state, and especially this recent one, seeing as the army has been doing a bit of counterattacks and surveillance to repel these things from taking place?
Well, thank you very much. In Taraba State, before the coming of the present governor, it was like a war zone. There were a lot of cases of kidnapping, banditry, and all that. But a few months into his assumption of office, we had a sign of relief. He was up and doing to ensure that the security of the state is sealed. But in the recent time, it has been pockets of attacks here and there. The most recent is that of, first of all, it was the Bandawa community. It started from Bandawa community. That is just about a few days ago. That was about 7 days ago. And we also have the worst of it is that of Munga Doso, Munga Lelo, and Magami community in Karim-Lamido, which just took place on Friday. It was a very devastating, so to say. A lot of people lost their lives. Who were told that these bandits suspected to be headers. They came in their numbers on motorcycle, and their military uniform, and they attacked the communities freely. We were told, as at the time the hostility was brought to an end, about a few hours later, almost over 20 people were reportedly killed, and several others injured. That is just the situation. Almost all the villages in Munga Doso Mungalelo, and Magami community were all burnt down. So that was what actually happened on Friday.
Okay. All right. So the question now is, in recent times, the military has been on an offensive, clearing out bandits and enclaves and all that. So is that not having an effect on the situation, helping to stem these things from taking place?
Well, like I said earlier, the governor on his own side put together with the 6th Brigade of the Nigerian Army, they've been all over the places to ensure that the issue of banditry, kidnapping, and all that are reduced to a very minimal level, which actually that was what has happened in the past. It has been, like I said, Taraba State was the war zone before, and when the governor came, he put on a lot of effort. And that was why we had a sign of that relief. But now, like I'm saying, it is just like a tornado that is blowing from one village to another. So there's a little the community can do about this. The community do not have the sophistication of the weapons that are in the hands of this banditry, which we are even suspecting that some of them are foreigners. You understand? Put to say. So that is the situation we have in Taraba State. It started, like I said, in Bandawa.
Okay.
In Bandawa, there was a misunderstanding between the headers there. And one thing again that we are also suspecting is that the local headers are the ones that are inviting these foreigners to come and do the dirty deals. That is what it is, because the moment you hear
these known happenings, or these are your own personal allegations or opinions on the matter?
Well, because I'm saying, like, when you look at the happening so far,
okay,
you will discover that the locals, the native headers, they don't have the sophistication of the weapons that are being used to commit this erroneous act. So we are also suspecting they don't have military uniform, and most of the people that saw some of these bandits, they say they look like foreigners.
Okay.
They are not just our own indigenous headers here.
Okay. Okay. So, Mr. Adaji, for the sake of the conversation, we'll stick with the word bandits, because even the security operators haven't come to say if it's the headers or farmers clash. But as someone on ground, what can you tell us about what can be done to actually stem this situation, especially in the rural areas, from the security operatives' perspectives and even the communities themselves?
You see, what we have in Nigeria now is a very precarious situation. The community borders are very porous, even the international borders are very porous. So these people, there's no way we can bring this problem to an end, because the securities are not even doing very well on their own side. Like in the past, when we have the Nigerian Security Organization, we have them in various communities. When they find somebody that is alien in that community or something happening in that community, what they do is to alert the nearest military outfit, to step in. All those things are not there. When these things are happening in various local communities, before the security will come to that place, the deed must have been done.
Okay.
So there's a little to be done in this case. It is an international matter.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ben Adaji, for joining us tonight on News Hour, sharing your insights on the situation in Taraba State security.
Thank you so much for having me.
Moving over to Zamfara State, the police command says it has rescued an activist and critic, Hamdiyya Regains, from the hands of bandits, contrary to reports that she was arrested and detained. The State Commissioner of Police, Ibrahim Maikababu, described the claim as false. Here's more in this report.
According to Commissioner Maikaba, Hamdiyya Regains, who hailed from Sokoto State, was abducted by suspected armed men. but was rescued by the police in Bakura and reunited her with her family. CP Maikaba disclosed that the police ensured that all medical examinations were carried out on Hamdiyya with a view to ensuring that she is in a stable health condition before handing her over to her family.
To set record straight, when she was brought to the headquarters yesterday by the PPO, we ensured that she received proper medical treatment, and we asked her to call for her relations so that they would come and take custody of her. And which we have been waiting for. It was only this morning, early this morning, that the relations show up. And this afternoon, we are handing her over to her relations. So all the rumors going around that we are handing her over back to the Sokoto State Command, or we are detaining her here. She was never detained. There was no reason for that. She's a victim of crime, so we cannot detain her.
The victim, Hamdiyya Sidi, who narrated her audio in Hausa language, refuted the claim that she was arrested and detained in dehumanizing conditions by the police.
The story making the rounds that I was arrested and detained by the police in Bakura is not true. The police were alerted about my adoption and were asked to come to my rescue at a certain village in Bakura local government. I can't remember the name of the village. I was not really feeling fine. But thank God I am recovering because the police took me to the hospital for medical attention.
A relative of the kidnapped victim, Fatima Bello, who came to receive Hamdiyya at the Zamfara Police Command, thanked the Commissioner of Police, Ibrahim Maikaba, and the Divisional Police Officer, DPO, Bakura Division, for rescuing and ensuring that Hamdiyya received proper medical care.
My sister asked me to go to Zamfara and see that Hamdiyya has been rescued. When I was coming, I thought I would meet her in a very bad situation, but that was not the case. Thank God Hamdiyya has been rescued and they brought her to the Zamfara Police Command where the police took care of her. Right now, she is well and reunited with me as one of her family members.
Hamdiyya, an activist from Sokoto State, gained public attention for her bold criticisms of the governor, particularly regarding issues of governance and security lapses in the state. In 2024, she was arrested and charged by the government for offences including use of insulting or abusive language and inciting disturbance under local laws. Her case drew national and international concern, with groups like Amnesty International calling for an immediate investigation and accountability from Nigerian authorities. Her online posts were alleged to have targeted the governor and his administration.
The Nigerian Army has neutralized 21 bandits in Shawo Forest located at Ruben Gudia Ward in Faskari local government area of Katsina State. This was contained in a statement signed on Saturday by the State Commissioner of Internal Security and Home Affairs, Nasiru Moazu Damusa. According to the statement, troops of the 17th Brigade Strike Group of the Nigerian Army carried out a deliberate attack on a terrorist enclave as part of the ongoing kinetic phase of Operation Forest Sanity 3. The operation resulted in the neutralization of several terrorists, including those swept away by the river while trying to escape, and the decimation of their operational capacity. There were, however, no casualties among the military team. According to the statement, besides operational weapons and ammunition, about 40 motorcycles and a yet-to-be-ascertained number of rustled cattle were said to have been recovered from the bandits. Still in security, personnel of Operation Safe Haven, a multi-security task force maintaining peace in Plateau and parts of Bauchi and Kaduna States, and the 3rd Division of the Nigerian Army have raided bandit hideouts in Teng Village in Ponpan local government area Plateau and neutralized one of them. The soldiers also recovered arms and ammunition during the operation. Disclosing the developments in Jos, the spokesperson of the operation, Major Samson Zokum, said the raid was part of the ongoing efforts to flush out arm-carrying criminals from Plateau State. Major Zokum said the troops recovered one AK-47 rifle, one AK-47 magazine, and 11 rounds of 7.62mm special ammunition. The spokesperson of the operation further said troops are in pursuit of the fleeing criminals, adding that they would continue to demonstrate impeccable service in the joint operations area, adding also that they are motivated to continue the fight against non-state actors whose obnoxious activities must be obstructed by every means possible. Patients who recently underwent surgery at the National Orthopedic Hospital, Jalingo, the Taraba state capital, have expressed optimism about a swift recovery. They shared their hopes during an interview with Trust Television, which visited the hospital to assess the condition of patients being treated for gunshot wounds sustained in various incidents. Here's more in this report.
Joshi Doma, a native of Takum local government area in Taraba state, underwent a second surgery after being shot in the right leg during a communal crisis over 5 years ago.
It's a gunshot during the crisis in Takum, between the Tiv and Juku.
Okay. How long?
It's been 5 years plus now, about 3 operations, and this is the 4th one.
Okay, 4th operation.
Yes, sir.
Another patient, Buba Ibrahim, from Bali local government area, recounted how he sustained a gunshot injury to his right hand after being attacked by armed robbers along the Wukari Federal Highway 5 months ago. I was shot by a gunman on the foot. I was operated here 3 weeks ago, and I am recuperating now. The presence of the orthopedic hospital in the northeastern region, particularly in Taraba state, is a great and commendable development. Pakshan, another patient awaiting surgery, explained that he suffered a fracture in his left leg after being hit by a metal object. He expressed confidence that the hospital would help him regain full mobility. In a separate interview, the hospital's medical director, Dr. Chubado Tahir, explained that the National Orthopedic Hospital, Jalingo, was established in 2023 following an amendment to the Orthopedic Hospital Management Act signed into law by former President Muhammadu Buhari.
We also will be managing cases of plastic and reconstructive surgery, that is including burns, complications of burns, which will include the wounds, chronic wounds, or deformities, like contractures, deformities of the hand and other joint surfaces. Scar problems, which will include things like keloids, etc. Skin cancers, all forms of skin cancers. In addition to that, hand diseases of the hand, whether it is hand injury or hand infection. All those things will be managed here.
Chief Medical Director, National Orthopedic Hospital Jalingo, Dr. Tahir, appealed to philanthropists and corporate organizations to assist the hospital in construction facilities at its permanent site, which is intended to serve the entire northeast region. He also expressed gratitude to Governor Agbo Kefas for providing a temporary location at the Taraba State Specialist Hospital in Jalingo, which is located just a few meters from the designated permanent site.
Over in the southwest, the chapter of the Nigerian Union of Pensioners has urged the Oyo State government to compel tertiary institutions, including Oyo State Broadcasting Corporation, to implement pension increments for retirees. According to the union, failure to comply may lead to drastic action from members. The report.
The Southwest Pensioners Union made their position known when members gathered in Ibadan to protest the state's failure to implement pension increments for 5 months, urging the government to take immediate action.
These men and women who have worked tirelessly for the glory of our state and should not be left to suffer. The union is using this medium to state categorically that if we are further reading to the world, we shall go on the street and go on the street against these recalcitrant organizations.
The Southwest Pensioners Union identified the boards and management of the Ladoke Akintola University Teaching Hospital, Ogbomoso, Emmanuel Alayonde University of Education, Oyo State, the Polytechnic Ibadan, and Erua Okeogun Polytechnic Shaki as those who have failed to implement the increments. The body also fingered the State Broadcasting Corporation as also being among those who have not effected the increment.
I pray that while we are seated here today, is that all those allowances and outstanding bills paid by our employers, we pray shall be released to us. Amen. Shall be released to us. Amen. Shall be released to us. And we shall spend that money in good health.
Council members want the state governor to enforce its authority on airing boards and management of identified institutions and agencies, and also ensure that immediate transfer of pension payments to the mainstream Oyo State Pensions Board.
That these things are deprivations and denials who have made this nation. People who have produced graduates, doctors, pharmacists are here, and yet they are being denied of their rights. In spite of the government's goodwill, worker-friendly, and welfare social, the idea is of people who are trying to build this idea, paint back.
Whatever this forum can do to convince the management of PCOS that we are not fighting the system, we are only trying to help the system so that nobody will take it personal, that the pensioners are against the success of the management.
While vowing that it is determined to address the challenges affecting pensioners' welfare and survival, the union called on governments, organizations, and individuals to partner with them to alleviate pensioners' plight and improve their lives.
Reactions have continued to trail the suit filed by the Department of State Services (DSS) against former presidential candidate of the African Democratic Congress, Professor Pat Utomi, over his alleged plan to establish a shadow government in Nigeria. The move has sparked widespread controversy and legal debate. Trust TV's Aisha Abdulmuminu reports.
Earlier this week, the Federal High Court in Abuja ordered the service of court documents on Professor Pat Utomi in the suit brought against him by the DSS. In separate interviews, civil society members Solomon Adoge and Gimba Suleiman described the shadow government as unconstitutional, arguing that only a shadow cabinet, typically formed by a main opposition party in parliamentary system, is democratically accepted. They insisted that the DSS acted within its power if constitutional boundaries were breached.
If you allow a shadow government to operate, alright, so what it means is that government is saying that there are sections of Nigeria who do not legitimize the constituted authority. Okay? So you are illegitimizing the constitutional authority. And by all means, what that will mean is that the constituted authority will be losing some form of legitimacy, and you don't want that to happen.
Presidential power and every executive power is actually jealously guarded in Nigeria, and the Constitution makes provision that gives such powers exclusively at the hands of the President, and where someone now goes into those powers, it's actually going to be treason and is punishable under Nigerian law. And then what we just have to look at is whether this particular action now is treasonable, and then if it infringes on the powers of the executive president.
Political scientist Ismail Opayemi noted that while individuals have successfully taken the DSS to court in the past, it is within the agency's rights to also initiate legal actions when necessary.
Up to this moment that we are talking, people are still criticizing government. You will agree with me that it's the context of the conversation that we are having that is making the DSS to that lens. We have civil society organization, we have opposition political parties doing their thing. On day by day to day, they criticize the policies of government, and they are allowed to do that. Nobody is threatening them, nobody is harassing them. But when issues become more complex, that it's become a threat to the coexistent peace of the country, then the DSS with its mandates need to actually intervene, and I think that's exactly what they are doing at the moment when it comes to the issue about shadow government that we are talking about.
Also weighing in, constitutional lawyer Sani Abbas argued that Utomi's alleged actions are alien to the constitution and could amount to treason. He stressed that forming a parallel government is not only unlawful, but may be seen as a direct affront to the authority of the president. However, he added that taking the matter to court is the proper legal route for interpretation.
The Constitution, number one, the Constitution has recognized the executive powers to be vested in the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It has also given the judicial powers to the courts and the legislative powers to the houses of assembly. So it is unlawful. It is unlawful for any, there's a thin line between being an opinion builder or being in opposition and by way of opinions, you try to structure or you try to, minister to the government of the state that, look, these policies are anti-people's policies.
The Federal High Court has scheduled June 25th as the date for hearing the suits. Aisha Abdulmuminun, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The federal government says it would make available for sale the 753 housing units confiscated from former Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele to Nigerians. The development was revealed in a statement by the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development when the Minister of Housing, Ahmed Dengiwa, alongside the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Olanikbekun Olukoyede, led a joint team on a fiscal site inspection of the seized housing estate. The estate, previously linked to Emefiele, was recovered by the EFCC in December of 2024 and officially handed over to the ministry following a directive by President Bola Tinubu. During the inspection, Dengiwa announced that the ministry would immediately commence its technical assessments by conducting integrity tests on the buildings. Upon successful evaluation, the structures will be completed and made available for sale to Nigerians through the Renewed Hope portal, which is already operational. The minister emphasized the federal government's commitment to transparency and accountability, calling on public office holders to stay clear of corrupt practices. Public affairs analyst Judo Ojo is joining us via Zoom to discuss this issue. Hello, good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight on News Hour.
Good evening.
All right, so Mr. Ojo, let's start off with, first of all, is this move to sell off these properties, is it legally and ethically right to do that, especially when this person is still under investigation?
It is. Don't forget that there is a court order, subsisting court order, that the property has been finally forfeited to the federal government of Nigeria. In fact, there was initially an interim order, and now the final forfeiture order that the Court of Competent Jurisdiction, the Abuja Federal High Court, has granted. So it is purely very legal, legitimate, and ethical for EFCC to do this, and we must commend the EFCC. This is the largest seizure, largest asset recovery to be achieved by the Commission since 2003. And it says so much about the kleptomanic tendencies of our public officials. How could just one person have 753 housing units? If that should be completed, that means, given the real price estate in Abuja, that would be a multi-billionaire in dollars. And this is just one of the assets. There are also cash forfeitures, foreign currencies, local currencies that have been forfeited. But I'm more concerned about the system that will allow a governor of central bank to amass so much wealth, despite the fact that there is a board of EFCC, and this is the apex bank, a regulatory agency for that matter. If the governor of central bank can steal this much, as a regulator, what do you expect of the commercial deposit banks that the central bank is regulating? So the system that have become so porous as to allow an Emefiele to amass this kind of, blood money. I want to call it blood money. Needs to be checkmated, because it's only Emefiele we've heard about in the history of central bank that have been brought to justice. There have been several central bank governors. Some have become governors of states after their tenure. Some have aspired to other positions. Some have become senators. But we never know what they did during their tenure. Maybe they are clean, or they are also complicit, but maybe the law didn't catch up with them. That's number one. Number two, which I need to already mention, is that if we want to clean up the roads in the public service, the federal government should be bold enough to enforce a kind of biometric registration of property owners, not only in Abuja, but in all the major cities. You will discover that many of these properties are owned by one individual. The other time, about 2 years ago, ICPC said 2 public servants, they were able to trace 301 buildings to 2 public servants. Now we have one individual with 753 housing units. So most of these houses you see in Abuja that are locked up, where they put property for rent, that they rent, nobody lives in them, nobody rented them. They are used to as a means of money laundering, and it is known to government. So if they want to sanitize the corruption, it's one thing to just enforce biometric registration of property ownership in Abuja, in Lagos, in Port Harcourt, in Kano, in Kaduna, in all the major cities. Let all the property owners come forward. Let there be biometric registration of them, and you will discover that many of them, and many of these houses that are being fronted are owned by just one individual. And that is one way to fight corruption. But I hope the president will have the political will to order EFCC to do the needful, because most of these properties at the end of the day may be owned by a politically exposed person.
All right. So I was going to ask you that, but you're already taking to answering the question already on how to minimize this issue, because how could one person be able to get that land with all the loopholes you have to go through at the FCDA, AGIS and all that to be able to build this and nobody questioned that. But let's come back to this whole thing about the buildings being sold off to Nigerians. Now the government wants to put it under the renewed hope agenda. Do you think that's a great idea? Why is it not done differently away from what the president is doing under his own administration?
Well, I think it's okay if it's put up for sale, but I just hope that at the end of the day, there will be no buyback of this property by those from whom it has been forfeited. Because what the Minister of Housing is saying is that they will do integrity tests on the buildings and then complete it and then sell it. We just hope that the completion of those buildings after the integrity test will not be inflated, and that it will not be another means of laundering money. They have said that the buildings will be sold to low and middle income owners. I just hope that the price that it will be offered to sale will be pocket friendly. Yes. Because if you are now saying people should come and buy a 3-bedroom duplex for 250 million, 1 billion, who can afford that beyond those who are also stinkingly rich? So it's a welcome development, more so that the federal government has put paid to government ownership of residences through the monetization policies. You remember that it was the presidency of Olusegun Obasanjo that sold off all government properties and government housing to civil servants. And that's why, even our legislative quarters was sold at that time to the legislators who are then occupying it. And all the other housing units owned by the federal government have been sold. So my own worry is that at the end of the day, whether the poorly paid civil servants and lower class will be able to afford paying for the property when it is completed. Although what could be done, what I would advise is that even if it is expensive, there should be a mortgage system that will allow people to pay over 10, 20, 15 years so that the money is spread over a very long time to enable them to pay. Unfortunately, we don't have a very proper mortgage system in Nigeria, but that's how many people become homeowners abroad. It's through the mortgage system. We do know that there is a federal mortgage bank. If that bank is revived and could afford to give loans to people, and I know there is National Housing and FHA, Federal Housing Authority, which also can be involved to make sure that these houses, when they are offered for sale, are made to be, that those who buy it are people who actually are low level, low income owners, low income earners and middle income earners, who are not just that people have stolen wealth, will now buy 10, 15 of it and then be reselling.
Thank you so much. We'll have to cut it short here because we have other stories to get to. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on the News Hour and for your insight on the situation with the housing.
My pleasure. Do enjoy the rest.
You're still on to News Hour on Trust TV. Still to come. Osun State agog as 41st Owabukun receives staff of office. Just stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Now a recap of our top stories. We told you that over 20 people killed, many displaced as armed men attacked Taraba communities. We also informed you that police have rescued Hamdiyya Sharif and denied rumored arrest detention. To more stories. In a bid to address the crisis walk in the People's Democratic Party, PDP, the party's Special Reconciliation Committee, chaired by a former President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, on Friday, met with the governor of Enugu State and leader of the party in the Southeast region, Peter Mba. Other members of the committee present at the meeting, which was held behind closed doors of the Government House, Enugu, were former Governor of Bayelsa State, Senator Seraik Dixon, and the former Governor of Gombe State, Ibrahim Dankwambo. The leaders of the PDP in the zone had in a communique issued after the Southeast PDP Zonal Executive Council meeting a fortnight ago announced the renomination of former PDP National Youth Leader Sunday Ude Okoye to serve out the remaining tenure of the National Secretary, threatening possible exodus should the decision not be respected. Addressing journalists after the closed-door meeting with Mba, Saraki said the PDP Reconciliation and Strategy Committee was set up recently by the PDP Governors Forum to work towards ensuring that the party's upcoming National Executive Council meeting and convention is rancor-free and successful.
We are members of the PDP Reconciliation and Strategy Committee that was set up recently by the PDP Governors Forum to work towards ensuring that our upcoming NEC and also likely convention is rancor-free and works smoothly. In line with that, we're here in Enugu State to consult with all of our leaders of the party, Peter Mba, Governor of Enugu and leader of Southeast in PDP. This is our first state we're coming to because we appreciate the importance of the Southeast in our PDP family. As you all know, Southeast has played a key role, bedrock of the popularity and the strength of our party. In recognition of that we are here to consult with him and first commend him on the leadership for. We've had a very good discussion with His Excellency. We thank you for your time. He's given us time, and it was frankly, we have very, very useful discussion. We're going away with some of the suggestions that we have here.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has denied allegations that its chairman, Olanipekun Olukoyede, met with a former South-South governor and his predecessor 48 hours before they decamped the All Progressives Congress. The denial followed claims by a spokesperson to former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, Paul Ibe, during a recent interview with a private TV station. Ibe alleged that the EFCC chairman and the Solicitor General met with the former and the serving governor from the South-South region 48 hours before they decamped the APC, claiming that the meeting took place at a government lodge in the South-South state. Reports have circulated that the governor of Delta State, Sharif Oborewori, and his predecessor, Ifeanyi Okowa, left the People's Democratic Party (PDP) for the APC in April. Reacting to the allegation, the FCC in a statement on Friday said it was outraged by Ibe's unfounded claims, describing it as patently fabricated. Olukoyede enjoined the public to disregard the allegation as it exists only in Ibe's imagination. The senator representing Kogi Central in the Senate, Natasha Akpoti-Odoahan, has instructed her legal team to prepare defense against the federal government's criminal charges against her. Trust TV reports that the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, had recently filed criminal charges against her over an alleged plot to assassinate her. Specifically, the charge filed at the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory alleged that Natasha made the allegation of a plot to kill her during a live broadcast on Channels Television's Politics Today aired on April 3, 2025. During the said interview, the embattled senator pointed fingers at Senate President Godswill Akpabio and former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello for allegedly plotting to have her assassinated. However, her lawyer, Ehioge Wesley Dahusa, SAN, in a statement issued on Saturday, said he was in receipt of the said information on behalf of his client. He said the legal team would adequately prepare all factual and statutory defenses available to their client and place same before the court during trial. The Nigerian Police Force, through the Interpol NCB Abuja, have extradited a Nigerian, Abubakar Mohammed, from the United Arab Emirates with financial crimes. Mohammed was handed over to security operatives on Friday after he was subjected to an Interpol red notice issued by NCB Abuja following an extensive investigation into a case of obtaining money by false pretense, forgery, and money laundering. A Saturday statement by the Force Public Relations Officer ASP Olumiwa Adijobi in Abuja said the case originated from a report filed in July 2023 by an Abuja-based international businessman who was defrauded by Mohammed under the guise of being a shipping agent. Investigations revealed that Mohammed misrepresented himself to the complainant, securing a contract to facilitate payments and freight of 10 high-end vehicles valued at $307,500 from the UAE to Nigeria via designated registered shipping companies. After establishing trust, Mohammed fraudulently received the full payment through a third-party account at FCMB belonging to Anas Husseini, a Kano resident, which was subsequently used for money laundering activities in Dubai. Upon receipt of the payment, Mohammed provided the complainant with a forged bill of lading for the vehicles and subsequently became uncontactable. He was apprehended in Dubai on April 15, 2025 and has been extradited to Nigeria to face prosecution at the Federal High Court, marking a significant success in the ongoing fight against transnational financial crime, Adijobi wrote in the statement. In Gombe State, the government has vowed to ensure justice is served in the case involving a man accused of raping his 2-year-old stepdaughter. This assurance came during a visit by the State Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development to the State Police Headquarters to follow up on the matter. The suspect, 47-year-old Muhammad Magaji, was reportedly turned in by his wife, the mother of the survivor, leading to his arrest by the police. Here's more in this report.
According to the Police Public Relations Officer, DSP Buhari Abdullahi, a team of officers was dispatched to the scene immediately after the complaint was received, resulting in Magaji's arrest. The state government, following up on the investigation, reiterated its commitment to ensuring justice.
I came in as to follow up this issue of this 2-year-old GBB survivor. That's Mariam Buba by name. I visited the mother and they have inquired that still the police are investigating the matter. Today being 2 weeks, so I decided to come in and do the follow-up. to speed up the investigation so that justice will take its place. We have assured the parent that we will follow up, they will get justice. So coming here is just to also discuss with the Commissioner of Police about the investigation going on, and there is need to speed it up.
While leading a delegation of government officials to Chauro Abarezir in Gaza, the resident of the survivor, Commissioner Iganus, condemned the heinous act and assured that appropriate punitive measures will be taken. During the visit, the government provided food and hygiene supplies to the child's mother and pledged continued support throughout the legal process.
Actually, my staff has been on ground since the day it has happened. They took her to hospital, and they have been with her in the hospital. I was away for official assignment, but as I returned, His Excellency Director instructed that I should come, visit, see to myself. They're right. We have written reports, so he directed that we should come and see the family, bring in some relief material for them, and also encourage the parent, the mother, that she's not alone in this. Government are with her. Even the wife of the governor, Asma Mohammed Inwaya, the first lady, she's so disheartened about what has happened. But I'm assuring you that His Excellency is on his toe. The perpetrator must go to his 14 years imprisonment without any option of fine. Actually, that has been the law, because VAV law, child protection law, has been passed in Gombe State and Demsa since 2022.
Legal experts say the suspect faces a minimum sentence of 14 years in prison, with life imprisonment as the maximum penalty under the law. Meanwhile, the residents have speculated that the crime may be linked to rituals. Hassan Koli, Trust TV News, Gombe.
The ancient city of Ilesha in Osun State was agog on Friday as the new paramount traditional ruler of Ijesha land, Oba Clement Hastrop, received staff of office. The state governor, Ademola Adeleke, while speaking on the occasion, assured people of Ijesha land of his commitment to promoting Yoruba culture and tradition. Hamid Oyegbade, faster report.
The Ilesha town hall was full to the brims as Ijesha sons and daughters far and near thronged the palace square to witness the coronation of the new traditional ruler, His Imperial Majesty Oba Clement Adeshoye Astrop, the Ajimoko III. Amidst drumming, singing and dancing, the people of Ijesha land who adored their beautiful traditional attires showcased their culture and tradition. President Bola Tinubu, who was represented by the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, charged the new monarch to serve as the pillar of unity among the Ijesha people.
It is with a profound honor, great joy, I stand before you today to join the rest of the people of Ijesha in celebrating a moment of immense cultural and social significance in the coronation of His Imperial Majesty Oba Clement Adeshoye Astrop and the 41st Honorable Ruler and Paramount Ruler of Ijesha. It is with high sense of responsibility and delight that I attend this coronation ceremony of an iconic Nigerian as you Oba Ruler of Ijesha. We are gathered to rejoice with the Ijesha people on the coronation of one of their finest as the new paramount ruler of Ijesha. I appreciate the sacrifice and I thank you all for the love you have shown to support me during this historical occasion of my life. Forever I will be grateful to all of you.
It's a good time to witness this coronation in one's lifetime. You would observe that even the Kabiyesi himself is somebody of caliber who is going to bring good things to the city of Ilesha and in Osun in general.
The festival-like event attracted top personalities including the former president Olusegun Obasanjo, former vice president Atiku Abubakar, and Namadi Sambo, the Ooni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogunwusi, and former governor of Osun State, Olagunsoye Oyinlola. Hamid Oyegbade, Trust TV News from Ilesha.
In Kano State, the government has marked the first anniversary of the reinstatement of Muhammad Sanusi as the 16th Emir of Kano with special prayers and reaffirmation of its commitment to the traditional institutions. The State Deputy Governor, Aminu Abdulsalam Gwarizo, reaffirmed the unwavering commitment of Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf's administration to preserving and upholding the dignity of traditional institutions across the state. Governor Yusuf reinstated Muhammad Sanusi, the 16th Fulani Emir of Kano, on May 24 after assenting to Kano Emirates Council Repeal Bill 2024 on May 23, 2024, sacking the emirs of Kano, Bichi, Karaye, Rano. Speaking during the special prayer session held in honor of the Emir to mark his return to the revered Kano throne, Gwarizo underscored the vital role traditional institutions play in promoting peace, preserving cultural heritage, and fostering unity among communities. Press Secretary to the Deputy Governor Ibrahim Garuba Shoibu, in a statement, said the prayer session, led by prominent Islamic scholars and attended by key stakeholders, served as a moment of reflection, gratitude, and renewed hope for continued peace and progress under the leadership of Emir Sanusi. In a business scene, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has announced that the country's Port Harcourt refining company will undergo a planned maintenance shutdown. The scheduled maintenance and sustainability assessment will commence this Saturday, according to the Chief Corporate Communications Officer, Olufemi Shoneye. Shoneye, in a statement, hinted that the NNPCL is working closely with all relevant stakeholders, including the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, to ensure that the maintenance and assessment activities are carried out efficiently and transparently. The statement added, NNPCL remains steadfast in its commitment to delivering sustainable energy security for Nigeria. The federal government has increased its gas production target to 12 billion cubic feet of gas production by 2030. This was revealed by the Special Advisor to the President on Energy, represented by the team lead gas Latif Biobaku, when Shell Nigeria Gas engaged more than 100 gas off-takers in the Agbara Industrial Zone in Ogun State. A statement by SNG on Friday said the minister will use the opportunity to share the vision of the government for the oil and gas industry. Said its vision is to unlock Nigeria's energy potential, to help fuel economic growth, to drive industrialization, and help diversify the economy. The aim, he said, is to attract investments to help raise oil and gas production to 4 million barrels per day, and 12 million cubic feet of gas per day by 2030. Last year, Nigeria generated approximately 8.6 trillion naira from natural gas production. Data from the NUPRC indicated that the country produced 2.5 trillion cubic feet of gas last year. Away from Nigeria, the South African police minister has said U.S. President Donald Trump's facts were twisted to push baseless genocide claims during an Oval Office meeting with South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa. Trump claimed that a clip he played during the meeting showed white crosses on the side of a road, referring to a memorial for white farmers who were killed. Police Minister Senzo Njunu said the crosses did not mark graves or burial sites, but were a temporary memorial put up in 2020 to protest farm killings across South Africa. He further said they were put up during a funeral procession for a white couple who were killed in a robbery on their farm.
The United States of America, as a country, we have respect for the people of the United States, and we have respect for the President of the United States, President Donald Trump. But we have no respect for his genocide story whatsoever. It is totally unfounded and totally unsubstantiated. The incident sparked a very strong protest by the farming community in the area. The crosses symbolized killings on farms over years. They are not graves. They don't represent graves.
In sports, as the 22nd National Sports Festival Gateway Games 2024 enters a critical phase, Delta State has once again stamped its authority, surging to the top of the medals table through dominant performances in swimming and taekwondo. Team Delta State has garnered a total of 76 medals, consisting of 35 gold, 12 silver, and 29 bronze medals, overtaking Team Bayelsa, who has won 66 medals, comprising 33 gold, 16 silver, and 17 bronze. In the swimming events, the Delta's athletes made an emphatic statement, with Duke Enyekumi delivering a composed performance to clinch gold in the men's 200-meter backstroke, while Akiyefa Timipami area demonstrated remarkable versatility, topping the podium in the women's 200-meter individual medley. These early victories reinforced the state's formidable aquatic pedigree and gave their medal count a powerful boost. The momentum continued in taekwondo, where Delta extended its legacy of excellence over 5 days of intense competition at the Ilesson Town Hall. The team collected 5 gold, 2 silver, and 4 bronze medals, emerging as the clear leaders in the discipline. Delta was particularly commanding in the Permse demonstration events, securing gold in the male team, female team, and mixed pair categories. That's it for News Hour tonight on Trust TV. For more of our news, programs, documentaries, to follow us on our social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. I'm Chamaka Nwafor. Thank you for joining us tonight on the news. Good night.